all the way there, and we can still see you, you're out.
Okay, so I'm gonna stay on this table.
Yep. If you stay in that middle table, you're good.
That's it?
Yeah.
Yes, indeed.
I think you're good.
I'm not catching the entire screen.
Why,
okay?
yes.
Yeah, that's fine. Because we're more focused on him.
Okay, thanks, Alex.
You're welcome, sir. Good.
Yes, sir. Because I thought about it. I'm talking about it.
Guy, grab coffee, free. I picked the beans myself. Come on, man. Me and Juan bought
It is?
You guys want coffee?
Hey, Corey, you get in? 60
I was just talking about the video game.
Oh,
Bring your kids. Yeah, down.
What's the best you got the dress
what?
The dress
No.
Waiting now.
Space.
Put a rule from the back of the
But this is in the shop.
I'm done.
And it's in the shop.
Oh, absolutely. Yes, I do.
The sign lead is to the
Yeah, so I rented an environment.
Okay. But I wanted to get rid of this stuff they can put out. Families get full families. And then they have meals for everybody.
I'm gonna give up a couple of those. You know those plastic?
I'm Jill, so nice to meet you.
Stand up and dance?
Yeah.
I gotta pick up a couple because they constantly thinking like they have 11 stuff and they're taking windows and, it's like just not nice.
What we wanted to do, but this is the first year doing it, was to make the transparent stickers of each of the census.
But we ran out of money because we're not profit. So.
How's it going?
Because we have money. Yeah.
Hey, how you doing, fellas?
So it's like where is it meeting, like what type of
It may have changed.
I was in front row last week.
That was it.
I'm also making my
How you doing, sir? I'm seeing your
Yeah, so we don't wing it. Just so that doesn't bother the person. Yeah. It's 9:02. What time did I start? So we usually start at 9:15. I don't even have the QR though.
Bob, you don't have to count now. Do it manually.
I'm gonna do it manually.
We don't have a QR code?
Tara's not here. Tara's not here. She didn't sit down.
Well, wait, I thought this presentation was professional. I thought we were going to be the best and the best and the best.
You know,
Right?
wait a minute. We did not pay you the thing.
True.
This is free.
I'm still waiting on that paycheck.
Yeah, this is free. Let's hit the second point again. This is free.
Free. I hear you. That's the great thing about it. It's free, but I still get a lot out of
And
it.
it will be professional. It will not be the best.
Professional doesn't mean perfect.
No, it doesn't.
Perfect never gets sold.
It says the 1 million cup Top Gun? Wait a second.
No.
I'm home.
This is 1 million cups subterranean.
Oh, man.
We drag out somebody who's at the bottom of the bucket and say, hey, present for us.
Yeah, that's my hero you're talking about.
There you go.
Maybe one week we can shock everyone and start at the front and we'll sit up there and we'll let them work back. We start here and we start here and we work up.
Nobody will get here earlier than we will.
That is true.
And I'm never
Which is
moving.
why you should be sitting in the front of the class.
No, why? That's where the suck up sit.
I think we should do rotation. I did my run in the front row last week.
I know.
Now, it's their turn to move up
But
front.
there were no seats available when you
And
came
we
in last
turn.
week.
That's true. That's why I'm here
You've
early.
been here on a timely basis.
I know. Yeah, I come from West Cola, man. I'm
I come from near Blythewood.
I'm impressed that you're giving me.
Yeah, we get here. The only people come further are probably what you call
Alexa.
No, she normally runs. I just went blank on her name. She's not good at that. Tara.
Yeah.
Yeah, Tara's almost Elgin.
Yeah, she's a little bit of a drive.
Tara's a committed woman. I come further. Where do you come from? Do you really? No. I was gonna say.
We were about to bow down and break it.
She had that hook set already.
I know.
South Hungary.
Okay, yeah,
that's a
yeah. We had, Anthony said, we had somebody coming from Charlotte.
Yeah, we had the mobile
Wow.
team.
Yeah. We also had somebody from Augusta.
I'm from Rhode Island, but I can make it.
Augusta and Charlotte about the same. Is it? No.
Everybody says Charlotte is only an hour. It is not. It's an hour.
Okay, Grandpa, wait a minute. See, somebody has a CDL but drives like a grandma.
Because I have a CDL and I want to keep it.
Yeah, he's got one side.
Wait a minute. But the times I have followed him,
So how
right?
long did you live in New York?
The front wheels of my car barely touch the ground. I'm like, now look at this woman. And when I'm in the car with him, he let me see everything. I can get out, walk next to the car, because we ain't going nowhere anyway fast. I get behind him to follow him. This speed racer comes out.
It's only me in the car then. I don't got to worry about me. When somebody else is in the car, I gotta be careful.
And see, that's where we still need Chris.
Oh, okay, so.
We still need somebody downstairs.
We just do
Still nobody downstairs?
Chris, or do door for us.
Would you do
Front door.
downstairs?
Oh, okay, sir. Yeah. Sorry for taking him away. He said he was gonna do it, but then he just never did. Never did. Squirrel. Yeah, I mean, riding. That's the problem with. See, I've seen you drive. And then to get in the car and ride with you and not drive like that. That's my expectation. Yeah. Get in there and we driving Miss Daisy. Squirrels, people in the little red scooters passing us by going, get off the road.
Do you always got the login info for this place?
It's Incubator Gamecock.
Yeah.
Oh, I should have known that.
There's like a,
You're looking for the executive offices, is the Wi-Fi name you're looking for?
Okay, executive offices.
Incubator, executive
Charlotte.
Oh, incubator, executive offices, okay.
Then the password is Incubator
Yeah, that's what I
Wi-Fi.
Yep.
I can get into Charlottetown limits. I mean, city
Gamecocks, capital.
not any place I want to go into Charlotte.
Well, you can't get anywhere if you want to go to Charlotte when you live in Charlotte, but that's not the case.
Gamecock. Plural,
No
Gamecock
letter
singular.
in incubator Gamecocks.
Yes.
ING capital, perfect, thank you. Lily.
You want to start now?
Yeah. We got found.
We still got.
I still got a couple minutes.
Yeah, sure, about 9:15.
That's right.
Has anybody got any big wins this last week?
Still alive.
Yeah,
Does anybody in the
tell us.
room have a big
She's
win? All right, let's hear it.
Tell us.
So I put in to present at a national conference, the Child Nutrition Association. And it's an unpaid conference. When I was working, I did it every year. I retired in January. They emailed me and said, we have chosen your topic. I told them I'm retired. They said, come as a consultant. A couple of weeks ago, they emailed me and said, we have upgraded your session to one of our major sessions. You will be presenting in an auditorium. Your title is just that, impactful. So I will be in the room with decision makers and people that are capable of paying me.
And all because you gave 1 million cups. We just say that.
Yeah.
So what's the presentation on?
My presentation is on the PEACE method for for overcoming overwhelm and stress for cafeteria workers, and it could be used for all entities. So, yeah,
Where's this at?
it's an Austin.
Oh, I'm wondering. My friend works for Sodexo. My friend works for Sodexo, so
It may actually be there.
yeah, he runs Central Florida.
Okay.
I didn't know. They're in all they weren't in high schools for a while. They were college campus. Now they're
I know, yes,
Now
so
they're
that's in South Carolina. Because I retired from being the director over the school nutrition program in the state of South Carolina. So yes, they're in many.
yeah.
So yes, that is my win.
Congratulations.
Any other wins?
How did you get that?
I got up this morning.
Still,
How do you know how big a win that is?
Yes, indeed.
You know what helps me relax is every morning I wake up and smoke a blunt.
That's called wake and bake.
I'm worried about you,
That's what you refer to.
every week for about 6 weeks.
Well, you found out Dan works at the CBD
I thought people did that for sleep.
He just
I think people
done
did.
gone off the rails.
In Columbia, South Carolina, CBD is code for THC.
Wow.
That's the U.S.
They admitted they want CBD, but they really want.
No, that's the U.S. That's just not here.
All right,
Yeah, it's everywhere.
Well, you know, I'm old. We've had it around since Woodstock. I don't know why it's taken everybody so long.
Look, I got a win.
go ahead.
I finished chapter 6 of my book. I finished chapter 5 Sunday and then turned around and got stupid and wrote 6 on Monday.
Oh, you wrote? I thought you read chapters.
No, I don't read anything. Reading is for suckers. I'm gonna write.
Have you titled it yet?
Yes.
I piss an audience off in 5 seconds.
You know, that is close.
Reading is for suckers?
Crash and burn. 10 easy ways to ruin your career in marketing and advertising. And in parentheses, and any other industry.
Wow.
So I'm giving you a course on the 10 things you can do to muck up your career. Not get fired, just not have a career. So you can still get paid. I've got to go back and rewrite the introduction, but think about it. A lot of people are in jobs that will never have a real career. They're never going to advance. And what keeps them from advancing? So I got fear, being a politician, doing low quality work.
I'm reading my presentation now. Shall we introduce you?
I'm not doing this.
But this is in it.
This is my side job. My side job.
All right, good morning, everyone. Welcome to 1 Million Cups. How many people are here for the first time? You are.
Raise your hand again for him so
You
you
get a count.
Thank you.
All right, how many people are students?
we apologize.
All right, this is winged because Tara usually does this and she has the presentation. But again, welcome to 1 Million Cups. This is a room full of entrepreneurs here to assist other entrepreneurs. It's not a sales pitch, so we don't want to hear a sales pitch. It's not an investment pitch, so we don't want to hear an investment pitch. Our presenter today is going to be Mr. Derek Walker of Brown and Brown and Associates. Derek has, I'll be kind, more than 10 years experience in marketing and advertising. Without further ado, Derek.
Thank you. Thank you very much. I wish I could do coffee art. Anthony's already introduced me. This is a session that's supposed to be about how to present to 1 Million Cups. And the best way to do that, who's going to put me on the clock? Dad, put me on the clock.
Sure.
So I'm going to give you a brief introduction as to what I'm about to do, and then we're going to put me on the clock for 6 minutes. Normally presentations are 6 minutes. We have broken that rule for the last 2 or 3 years because we only have one presenter. We used to have 2 presenters per session. So we have 6 minutes and then 20 minutes of Q&A. with COVID and recovering and trying to build this room back up, we realized we don't have enough presenters, so we started allowing people to go 10 minutes, 12 minutes, 45 years. You know, the presentations got kind of long. So what we're going to do now is we're going to reset. And we're going to go back to 6 minutes to present and however long it takes through Q&A, because we're not going to add another speaker. So it just gives you more time. These presentations, as Anthony has brought up, are not about pitching or selling. They're about talking about your entrepreneurial journey. So, in that vein, I said, you know, I can get up here and talk and BS y'all for a while, or I could try to make it in 6 minutes to talk about my entrepreneurial journey. So, Thad, tell me when.
The clock is starting now.
My name is Derek Walker. I own Brown & Browner Advertising. I've gotten here, no, let me just quit. Let me not do the pitch. I am tired, y'all. I have run an agency since 2008. And Deb told me that this is my make it session where I have made it in big time. I'm broke again. That's the nature of running an ad agent, a business. You know, you're up, you're down. I was doing really well until this little thing called COVID came. And I was in a hotel because we were renovating the house we lived in right when COVID hit. So I couldn't get in the hospital. I caught COVID in the hotel. So I couldn't get into a hospital. My father, I was taking care of, who had dementia, has more insurance than God, so he got into a private hospital because he retired from the state and the military. I was left in their hotel room. There came a point where the nurse from the Department of Health called and she said, Mr. Walker, it's time for you to say your goodbyes. So I called my sons, I called my ex-wife, I called my friends, and I said my goodbyes. Because I was going to die. I could barely breathe, lungs full. And it hit me that I was about to die with 5 clients and about 9 or 10 people working for me. And I had to take care of them. So I had to call 4 or 5 friends that own ad agencies and have them take over those accounts in my team. I needed them to be taken care of. Well, God played a cruel joke on me and I didn't die. Good plus. So now I'm coming out of COVID, long COVID, thinking I'm about to get the agency back up. I can't get those 5 clients back because that just ain't the right thing to do. You know, in good faith, I gave them to somebody. I don't feel right going back and getting them. Imagine the stress levels of that. So I started back and I'm working with folks like that and a couple other people trying to rebuild the agency and get out of COVID and the long COVID, and I end up with prostate cancer. So that's another surgery, radiation, and then come out of radiation and surgery in probably about 3 months. Well, no. My radiation ended in June, and my father died in July. And the hits just keep coming, don't they? But I got to keep the business going. I got to rebuild the business. But I just lost my dad. I just did the radiation. And let me tell you, if you ever do cancer treatment and they give you radiation and they say you will be exhausted, that ain't tired. I used that word exhausted throughout my life. No. That radiation side effect of being exhausted is another thing. I was stuck at the Starbucks in Casey. I let it creep up on me. I did my treatment. I'm sitting there at Starbucks working. I said, I'm getting a little tired. I can work, I can push through. I was stuck there for 2 hours. I had to take a nap in Starbucks. That's what the exhaustion felt like. So when I say I'm a bit tired, I'm tired because I built it up and then the world brought it back down and I'm building it up again and the world just keeps on bringing you back down. So I felt bad that it was a made it session because I don't feel like I made it because I'm building again. But I understand that that's the nature of business. Me and Mentoree, I'm not yet, okay, 2 minutes. Me and Thad have talked about the structuring of our business. Come on in and how you do it. And what helped me most is the idea of 7 lean years, 7 good years, 7 lean years in the Bible. When you're making that money, please don't buy a car. Don't get fancy with it. That money, trust me, good times are great, but you know what's coming? Them bad times, them lean years. And I ran for the lean years from 2000, the good years were 2008 till 2015 or 16, and I squirreled away money. So when COVID hit, the business was sitting on money. I could run for a while. I'm now in that period where I burned through all of that, and there's just a weight to it. I don't do business in South Carolina, mainly because it's an education thing. The level of clients I had, and I'm going after, they always understand the value of marketing and advertising. So they have budgets. They have a marketing plan. They know where they're going. I don't have to come in. Think about if you have to come in and start at the very beginning. And let me tell you what goes into a marketing plan. I don't get paid for that. But it's something you need before you do anything. So that's my journey. I'm just tired, but it is the most fun you can have owning a business. I wouldn't trade it for anything. I've worked for people. And the other part to that is this room. I've sat back there in the back of the room and listened to some of y'all's stories and just been so invigorated when I was tired. And that's why I come repeatedly. And I encourage folks to come. You may not learn something you think you need, but life will show you learned something very valuable. And we're done. Notice I didn't talk about myself. Notice I did not pitch you on being a client. I barely touched on it, and that's what this room is sometimes for. Those are the kinds of presentations that reverberate and help. The presenter last week was concerned, and I said, no, trust me, in the Q&A, a couple of us coach the presenters. In the Q&A, this room will ask you about the business. Because we're all business people. So you have to trust the room. What you need to bring to this room is where you are. This is an opportunity to be as vulnerable and imperfect as you can be, while still trying to handle your business. An unhealthy you cannot have a healthy business. So this may seem all touchy-feely and everything, but no. The purpose of this room is to make sure we're strong as an entrepreneurial community. And how do we get strong as an entrepreneurial community? We are in our right minds. We understand we have a support system. And what the incubator is building, they're going to be moving to TAPS maybe, or probably. And his vision for it is to actually be more supportive in everything of the business community outwardly, not just the people inside. And this is where 1 Million Cups comes in. Come on in. So if you have questions about even the business, my presentation, or how to present, let's do that. I just wanted to show you how simple and easy it is. Notice the slides. I thought about it and I said, do I do a slide presentation? Normally I put a funny video in. No funny video today. We've gotten to the point where we lean too much on PowerPoint and slide presentations and all of this crap. And I'm in advertising now calling videos and slide presentations crap because we stopped talking to people. I've got to hit my points. So when you get up here to present, it's not about hitting your points, it's about telling your story. How did you get here? What are you going through? How can the room help you? And I'm working with a potential client right now who thinks he needs investors, and he does. But what he needs more than that is focus. He cannot stay on task. And I want him to come and present,
because he will not stay on task. If he stayed on task, he could get stuff done, but he needs to hear from a bunch of us like this, that one minute you're working on your business, the next minute you're working on your car collection, you're doing your side hustle and all of this, and he's wondering why he ain't making no money. Stay on task. So this is what the room has historically done. I've been, it was me and Anthony, we go way back, 7, 8 years? 9 now. 10. We've been coming to these for 10 years. This room used to just be brutal in a good way. And that's what we want to get these presentations back to. Folks would come in here and I think the funniest one was either the guy with the igloos.
The pods.
Yeah. He was going to do housing for the homeless, but he hadn't considered they were going to be little pods. And I'd tell the story if he was in the room. Bless his heart. And he had not thought about the government part of it. So he was just going to plop pods all over Columbia for the homeless to live in. No water, no electricity, no sanitation. And the room was like, excuse us, how are you going to do this? And sometimes we're so close to our baby that we need a room like this to go, that ain't a good idea. You haven't thought this thing through. And it's done in love. Our tile person, right, Thad? Mm-hmm. Oh, dear God, I wish we could get Tom back in the room. We had accountants, lawyers, VCs. This room used to be filled with people who could help you with professional advice, unlike myself. And this young lady was doing custom tiles. Is she in the room?
No, she's not here.
Okay, good. Yeah, she's going to kill me for this one. So she's arguing about her price. And one of our old members, Tom, he picks up his phone because he's told her you're not charging enough in the Q&A. And she gets a little pushback on this. Like, I do custom tile, I know my business and everything. And he goes and he calls his wife on speakerphone. And he goes, baby, how much did we spend on tile for the kitchen? And she goes, $23,000. And he turns and looks at her and goes, you're not charging enough. That's how the room used to be. And you're sitting there going, I am so poor. I get $23,000 on kitchen tiles. And she was charging, what, $200-300?
She was charging for the whole thing, it was like $22.50 or something. It was a round number.
And the room kept saying, you're not charging enough. You're doing custom tiles. There's where we live in this ecosystem. We don't require, and you got to think about the benefit of this room. And I mean, I'm a huge fan of what 1 Million Cups does. There's no membership fee. There's no real attendance. There's no requirements to anything. There's no screening. It's just come in here, listen to the room, participate, and after a while, if you get brave enough, we're gonna get Chris up here. Yeah, you're gonna present Chris. Chris has been putting us off, but we're gonna have him present because he's getting all the help and everything that this room provides by asking us in the back when his butt needs to be up here. So I'm gonna embarrass him by saying you present. But this is what the room is, and if you don't have a business, guess what? Come in here and listen to these old farts who do have a business and learn from our mistakes. If you make the same mistake I make after I present and tell you about my mistake, you're an idiot. You should learn so you do not repeat the mistakes that come through this room. In the same sense, you should be able to duplicate the successes when people get it right. And there have been a lot of folks who get it right. So I'm not only talking about learning mistakes, but I sit up in here and I learn, some people have come through here and figured out how to build teams on low budgets. That's hard. But to hear that, you got 3 or 4 employees who will ride or die with you. Some of us ain't got no employees. And getting folks to ride and die in this day and age is hard, But that's offering a different compensation model. They offer a portion of the business as ownership, and all of a sudden the people, of course, when it's partly mine, I'm going to show up. So you see why, if you're a student, it's important to be here. I love the business books that are out there, but let me tell you, the business books that are out there that we follow and teach people how to run business are a good 7 to 8 years old, at least, and I'm being kind. I'm writing a book now. It'll take me, I'm different. I'm going to say that as far as this. I am not good at a lot of things, but I am freaking amazing at writing. That's where I live. So pumping out a chapter, 2,000 word chapter is nothing for me. And it's taken me 6 months to write a book. And I'm going, why can't I get to 300 pages yet? First of all, my stupid head, I've got it that I need 300 pages. And my art director goes, you need as much as you need to say what you need to say. So now I had to relook at it and go, I don't need 300 pages. But then you hear those voices. But what I'm saying is, most business books are 2-3 years in the writing, another 6 months in editing, and then you got to get it promoted. So for you guys that are at USC or in college, or any of us reading business books, understand there's a lag. Nobody's writing a book today and publishing it tomorrow. So what you're learning is already not included AI, the full extent of AI, because guess what? We still working that out. So I'm just floating along. Look, raise a hand so that I
Let's
can
open
shut
the room for questions.
Yes. Yeah, that's what. Yes, ma'am.
Thank you for being here. You know, when I say made it, different definition of made it now than it was 8 years ago. Made it means you made it here.
Yeah.
For 8 years, every week, and sat your butt in this chair. When you ain't getting any compensation back, you know, I've seen a lot of people come and a lot of people go. They come, they take the magic, and they leave. Oh, I just met people. I told Derek that before. But one of the things I wanted to touch on is that 7 years you talked about of leanness.
Yes.
I have a better story. Who's that character in the Bible that got tricked into marrying one broad and he had to go another 7 years to get the one he really wanted? Excuse my French ladies. That's my life. I went 7 years of leanness and God said, you got 7 more, girl.
Yeah.
I just remembered that Bible story and thinking, you know, that's what comes with entrepreneurship. You know, everybody thinks, you know, you become an entrepreneur and you get rich, and that's because there are people out there selling that business model.
Yeah.
And it ain't that way. It's really, really hard. And one of my favorite stories was a black woman who marketed her grandmother's maple syrup recipe. Her family was so ticked at her that they sued her. Can you imagine pursuing your dream and your family sues you for selling the family recipe? It took her 18 years. 18 years to become a success. So I mistakenly thought in my youth that I had to take 18 years to get there. Well, I found out, thank God, I mean, I'm old now, it doesn't take 18 years, but for 18 years, I struggled thinking that that's what I had to do. So when did I learn different? When I hung around with people like you, when I hung around with people who were smarter than me and had done it already and paved the road. And, you know, when we ask people like Derek to come in here and speak, it's not because we needed a speaker like they did the week I spoke. It's because he is like a world of knowledge in that brain of his. And he writes like a genius, for sure. But this is what we want to bring to you at 1 Million Cups. And we want you to bring this to 1 Million Cups, because that's how 1 Million Cups grows. And man, it's growing because this room is really full today.
Yes, we are.
Thank you, Derek, for being here. You've made it in my book, baby.
There you go. Thank you. Questions? Comments? Yes, sir.
More of a comment. You don't have to have a business to present. You can have an idea.
Yes.
You can start at the idea phase. So this is what I'm thinking about. This is the problem it should solve, and this is how I want to approach solving the problem. So don't think you have to be a business owner to present.
Exactly. I'm picking on him, but Chris is a prime example of this. He had an idea he's got a great business idea, and it's a niche market. And he sat back there with that Anthony, I'm sorry, I went blank on him, Lawrence, and told us what he was thinking. And we spent, 2 hours talking about his business model afterwards. You ain't gonna get that always. But now he's showing us his contracts and his structure for his business.
You get from this room what you put in. I don't mean that any other way. If you come in here and think there's nothing that pisses me off more than a person that comes in here and presents and never comes back. Reciprocity. You came to this room, and now I'm about to get real serious about it and be bitchy. You came in this room and wanted advice and help, but you don't have the common decency to return the favor? How dare you? I'd rather you not come. And we've gone through those presenters who think this is a room to use. And they don't give back. They take. And I sit back there and that'll tell you. We go through the emails, we coach folks, and then when they still send us a presentation where they're selling, we get to the point where I go, I'm not asking a question, I'm not giving a comment. If I am quiet in that corner back there, the person that's presenting did not listen to the coaches. I'm gonna say this out loud and clearly. I will not help somebody who comes in this room and tries to pitch or sell. Because we have told you this is not the room for this. And you can do whatever you want. You're a grown-ass person. But guess what? My services, my hourly rate is roughly, I don't even have an hourly rate anymore, but when I had an hourly rate, it was about $4.85. And I got paid. I am not about to give it to somebody who doesn't respect the room. So I need you to understand when the coaches reach out to you, if you're going to present and say there's too much pitching or selling in this, do not try us. We will stop a presentation from now on. This is not the room to sell in. It's uncomfortable because it's against what we are about. We are free. We're here to extend help and aid. And you think this is some place to come and pitch your business, sell it to us? We ask you not to sell. There are places in Columbia, there are BMIs, there are tons of meetings where you can do this. And I'm not saying they're bad. They serve a purpose. But in this room, respect the rules. You don't go to BMI and do what you want to do. You don't go to the Columbia Chamber and do what you want to do. There are rules to this. And it makes the room better when we are all sort of fanatical about helping each other. And if you ain't interested in helping somebody else in this room, you really shouldn't be in this room. Because we're trying to build a community where somebody can reach out, email, or call and say, hey, I'm struggling. It ain't got to be about the business. There are folks in here I know I can call just because I've had a bad day. You know, I pitched this account, I worked my ass off to get it, and I didn't get it. Who do I talk to about that? You know? That's a loss. Or when I get a win. I woke up Sunday, wrote a chapter of the book, and I had to call a couple of people and go, ooh, I wrote a whole chapter in a day. Because it shocked me. So it's the highs and the lows, but if you're not vulnerable enough to be human, this ain't the room for you. And I know I'm being an asshole when I say this stuff. But I've seen this room save folks. I've seen this room build up businesses. Make folks stronger, smarter, better business people, better human beings. You know, there was a time when, what's that book they were pushing? Profit First. Mm-hmm. If you read the book, I'm sorry, I'm not a huge fan. I come from corporate America before I got into advertising. Profit is a reward for running your business right. It's not an obligation. You're not due profit, you earn profit. So this book offends me on so many levels because it says you should take your profit first. No, you should pay your business first. You should take care of your business and your people. Because guess what? They made you the money. And we have gotten to this idea that we all have earned profit. And I'm sorry I'm wandering off, but this is just one of them pet peeves of mine. I got plenty of them. But if you pay yourself, and this room has always been a proponent, an advocate of, as a business owner, write your damn salary down. This is what you need to make. If you need to make $150,000 a year and you are paying yourself $150,000 a year, that's a number you could live with, correct? So why do you have to be fanatical about profit where you don't pay your people enough to live? Where you compromise on quality of product or quality of service, where you cut back to make profit. The only way to enhance profit is to reduce costs. And to reduce costs, you either reduce labor, you reduce materials, or you reduce services. So you take a great product and you make it inferior. I learned that here. I knew it in corporate America, but it became really enforced when people started talking about, well, you talking about the book Profit First. And I went, that's not how this works. And we had discussions about it, and you come to realize we own our businesses. We should be paying ourselves what we think we worth. And if I make that 150, guess what? If I don't make more than enough to pay all my bills, am I good? Just a little sidebar to that. Now, I will get from the Profit First people some pushback, but you know what? I love a good fight. I really do. I ain't made for peace.
Other questions?
Yes, questions, please. Yes, ma'am.
I have one. I appreciate you sharing your story and your journey early on. This is my first 1 million cups.
Welcome.
And I'm going to be presenting in June, so I just wanted to start coming and meeting everybody and seeing how it goes. You mentioned that there's coaching first that we meet. What does that look like? And we pitch for 6 minutes and then there's questions. What's the rest of the structure? Is it just us up there answering questions?
Just answering questions.
Okay.
That was the easy part to answer. The coaching
Okay.
depends on, all of us are volunteers. So if you see a person in a 1 million cup shirt, I'm too fat right now, I can't wear my shirt. But the people back here with volunteers, raise your hands. So what happens is one of us reaches out to you. What has happened is, and I'm not happy about it, Coach Thad, I don't know, are you happy about doing it through email?
No, not exactly, because
We prefer to meet and go over your presentation. And think about it, we've given folks 2-3 hours to go slide by slide by slide. So you imagine when we get up here and see the damn same stuff up, that's what sets us off, is we've given you time. We meet with you personally if you'll have the time. The problem's been certain people will not meet in person. So for those folks, we do it through the email or on the phone. We're in Columbia, there's no reason why we should be Zooming it. I'm sorry, it's Columbia. You can throw a brick across the city. You got time to do anything else, but you don't have time to sit down with us and go over your presentation. So as you see, I put that one slide up and I didn't go anywhere.
Can I chime in on that?
Yeah.
There's a lot of pushback initially because people think that they are coming to pitch their business. They are, more times than not, when they come into this room, they're coming from a place of survival mode.
Yeah.
They found us because they are in survival mode. Somebody told them you should try 1 million cups. And then they get it in their head that this is the place that's going to save you. And it will. Not in the way that you think. It's going to help you become a better business person. Mm-hmm. But it is not, like Derek has said, the place for you to pull your next client, your next big venture. You might find collaboration. You might find people that you're going to work with. But what you won't find is, your next meal ticket, right? Your next big.
Yeah, you won't walk out with a check.
You won't walk out with a check.
Lord, if that's the case, I've been here 10 years, and if you walk out with a check and I ain't, we got to talk. Yes, sir.
I actually used myself as an example since you've been using it. So my first time being at 1 million cups, I spent maybe 3-4 weeks here.
Yeah.
And then I was here for Supermom's presentation.
Yes.
After she presented, I went up to her and didn't try to pitch working for her on pay, but simply, hey, I want to take photos for your event, completely free of charge. Mainly because, one, it gives me a chance to interact with a community that I'm not well versed in, as well as giving me time and more material to use for my business itself, while also being able to help her with getting material that she needs to present to investors and everyone else, so she can get more funding and everything, as well as using the photos for her own advertising.
And please go to our Facebook page. We have 2 Facebook pages. Join the private group. What's that one, Bob? 1 million Columbia.
Yeah, it says Columbia, because there's a Columbia, Missouri. Make sure there's a Columbia, South Carolina.
Yeah. And the reason I say go there is because we chronicle all these meetings, so you can watch presentations. Lizzie was one of the best presentations ever. She was funny and hilarious. Stuart and Xavier. If you want a good cry, watch their presentation. It is Jacoby Shield. It breaks your heart. They started a foundation after their child was killed in the park by a falling tree branch. Yes, and they deal with helping people work through grief. And let me tell you how the room really, really works on a personal level. Deb wanted me to say what I got from this room. My father had a stroke late June. They had presented about grief in March or April. And we had just started talking, and they asked for some advice, and we had given them some advice on marketing. And I don't remember how they found out my father had a stroke and he was in the hospital and it was the end of his life. I'm sitting in the hospital room and I get a call from Stuart. I need to walk you through what's going on. I need to walk you through what's going to happen. I need you to be okay. Are you okay? And I wasn't okay. And he talked me through mourning my dad before he died. And I don't know Stuart from anybody but this room. And that's the caliber of people that have passed through this room. So for the 2 weeks my father was in the hospital, hey, I'm good. My family members are losing their minds, but every chance I get, Stuart's like, you need to talk to your dad. You need to do this, 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 and this. This is how you handle the grief. Because he and his wife had gone through the grief of losing a child, so they have a system in place. I wouldn't have known that if they hadn't been here. My sanity, I think, is tied to that phone call. Because he stayed on the phone, he said, let me talk to you about this. Make sure you have no regrets. You got time to talk to him. He was conscious and lucid. He's like, make sure you get all that out. I owe Stuart my life. I owe Stuart and Xavier my life because I think Xavier, his wife, had him call. I love the way you women, you ladies work. It's like, Derek's sitting over there struggling. Why don't you give him a call? He's okay. Give him a call.
Wasn't asking.
I'm just gonna say it. Us men ain't in tune with stuff to do that on our own. So I'm gonna give her the credit. But their presentation was so freaking amazing that when he called, I instantly went, oh, he knows what he's talking about. Lizzie explains the difference between THC and CBD so beautifully that it should be a commercial for a store. I mean, it's hilarious. So watch those videos. Anybody else got any good presentations? Yes.
We actually have a YouTube channel. I think there's a link on one of the Facebook
Yeah.
groups. There's a lot of recordings there, and there's some really good resources. We had Robin Merritt of the Small Business Development Center. Did you students know about that? The Small Business Development Center here? It's associated with the University of South Carolina. It's free, and they have excellent knowledge.
One of our original organizers was Casey. What's Casey's last name?
Whitener.
She teaches at the School of Business.
She teaches entrepreneurship. Some of you probably are in her class. Yeah.
So it's not like there's there's the Tom Pietras presentation on accounting. We do learning sessions where we actually bring in professionals who know what they're talking about. And I can remember, and he's going to be embarrassed by this. I hope you're watching, Tom, somewhere. He started the presentation by saying, "My wife and I are what you would call the 1%.
Best opening line ever.
Best opening. The rest of the room went, "Do tell." You said something, Tom? He's an accountant. Building is right down here. What time is it?
He's retired now.
Yeah, he's retired.
We have 10 minutes.
So, but what he gave out was real advice, and he hit some nerves because he's like, your bank account, your business bank account can't be your personal bank account. And you hear folks, yeah, we don't learn that the hard way. Do not be taking money out that account. The IRS don't like that. But even more than that, you get to a point where you place your business and your finances in jeopardy. But anyway, so there are on YouTube and on Facebook, there will be a plethora. Oh, I like that. I got plethora in today of videos that you can watch. What it's like is we sit down. We ask that you bring your slide presentation if you want one. I want to stop right here. No slides are needed. If you can stand up here and talk for 6 minutes, do it. I put this one up just to say my name and my agency and to show that you don't need a slide presentation. What you need is to be what Thad is talking about, focused on your journey. Trust us. If there are people in this room who will meet you for coffee to talk about your business part. There's 3 good marketers in this room. There's an author. There's instructors in technology and investors. Get to know the room. The room success doesn't look like what you think it looks like.
Can I chime in real quick? Again, people do business with people they like. Right? And we think that it's because people don't know your value, and they don't even get to that until they decide whether they like you or not, whether they want to be around you or not.
Yeah.
What you're doing in this room is laying that foundation so people can get to know who you are. So then maybe I'm interested in your business, right? If I don't like you, I don't care what your business is. If you give me bad vibes and someone who's just trying to get in my pockets, I'm going to run away from you like the plague, right? But in this room, you have an opportunity to, which is very hard as an adult, to make new friends with similar interests and values, right? But you have to be open and honest about who you are, what your journey has been to get to this point, so that people can see if they have things in common with you that will allow them to say, I don't take any work in South Carolina, but I want to sit down and have coffee with you and talk about your business.
You got me there. I will meet with anybody for free.
I wasn't gonna call his name, but
yeah. And the largest account I have ever worked on is $500 million, 528 million on Nissan. Smallest account I've worked on is 0. So somewhere in between. I'm in Columbia, South Carolina because my dad got sick, and now I'm trapped. I need to get out of this. God, I have to go over the wall. I'm waiting for that warden to call and say I've been sprung. But I have said some things on social media, and the advertising gods have gone, for your crimes against advertising, you will stay in South Carolina. But I'm gonna break free one day soon, and y'all, I'll come back and visit you and wait.
See what you doing?
Yeah, I'm going over the wall.
I might take one of those underground railroad routes if I have to, but please, this room, what we're trying to say is this room is a great resource, especially if you hadn't started. And I got to say something to students that I wish somebody had said to me when I was at USC. Fail now. Try and fail now. If you don't take anything from this room, look at a bunch of old folks taking an ass whooping for failing at a later time. Families, mortgages, car notes, student loans. I can give you all of them. It's hard. My youngest son went to culinary school, $72,000. I need him to fail now. Because I'm paying that 72. I don't need him to fail at 40 or 50 when he calling me and I'm ready to retire and cruise. I need that boy to fail now. You can rebound as students a lot easier than us old folks. You know, they used to say babies bounce, old folks crack. When you drop an old person, they break bones. When you drop a baby, they sort of bloop, bloop. Not saying I dropped to my boys, but it might have happened. You guys are young as students. Take those chances now. Because some of us waited until I was 43. And I was tired. Yes, ma'am.
But I do want to say you're never too old to do money.
Oh, no.
For us old folks in here.
Yeah. Oh, no. I'm glad we're doing it when you do it. But it's a lot easier when you ain't got everything. My dad tried to tell me, you don't listen, and then you realize your parents are actually smart. He's like, you want to do this? You sure you don't want to do this now? Oh, no, Daddy, I got to have a career and all of this. And I got one of them. My youngest is, oh, no, I have to have everything in order first. And his older brother's like, no, you don't. Do it now while you can. You ain't married. You ain't got no children. Eject now, boy. And I'm listening to them. I'm like, oh, thank you. One of them listened to me. But I'm telling you, students, for real, if you have an idea, get on our list, come up here and pitch. Let the room help you and work it out. And then believe in yourself enough to take that chance. If you're older, same advice. Yes, sir.
I gotta say, not pitch, presentation.
Present. I'm sorry. Yes. Joseph, yes, sir.
Real quick, when do the coaching sessions happen prior to presenting?
We find out what we've coached
So
3 weeks out.
The sooner you get in the portal, and we try to work with everyone's schedule, right? So we try to make sure that we are at least 2 to 3 weeks before you, in case, because some people take a little longer. They'll come with their presentation. We'll have to schedule time to sit with them, or Zoom or email. It goes back and forth sometimes. Ultimately, it can be as quick as the week before, or as far out as 3 weeks. It just depends on your schedule and our schedule.
And you responding.
Yeah, some people don't check your emails.
I sent it. We sent the email on Thursday for somebody, and they didn't respond till Tuesday before their presentation.
I think Sarah was booking in August, if I'm not mistaken. I think she was booking out August.
Yeah.
Right, but what happens is when she books them, they first send the presentation to her. And then she
sends it to us,
or asks who's available for coaching.
And we will meet if you get your if you're on the calendar for June or July or even August, and you get your presentation to Tara, because she handles the scheduling. If you say I've got my presentation together, I would love to, we'll meet with you earlier and give you enough time to work out and practice it. So we're flexible. We're real flexible. The problem has been, and I know there are going to be some complaints, the problem has been the receptiveness of people to make time for coaching. One, we ain't getting paid. So if I take 2 or 3 hours out of my day, that's away from my business. But you got folks who are like, well, I don't really have the time to meet. And you probably don't have the time to present. I mean, seriously, if you can't take a phone call,
worse than that is the folks that waste your time. So
Yeah.
that's my pet peeve. Don't waste my time. If I set up time for you to coach, to meet with you in person, and then you don't show, or you call, I will lose it.
You will.
I promise you, I will lose it.
It's been ugly. We do it at Starbucks. There's a big Starbucks in Columbia. Yes, sir.
There's always time after each session on each Wednesday.
Yeah.
It's already here.
Yep.
So you can do it.
We're happy to do that. Yeah, we'll meet. We have this room until 12:30, 1 o'clock. I saw Rick, he left.
Yeah.
Yeah, we have until 12:30 or 1 o'clock. So if you want to do it right after, clear your schedule and say, hey, can we meet here? We know we're here on Wednesdays.
We got time for those last.
But no, I got one more right here.
So I'm just gonna pick at you for what you said earlier about being an asshole. So as a general question, how and when has it become a norm to be an asshole because you're setting boundaries and expectancy to respect others or an event put together?
When folks started believing that they could do what they want to do. You know, as entrepreneurs, we think, and we do, we run our own business. And we get sort of used to having that freedom. I'm the boss. I make the rules. I was raised in a military house. My father was a drill instructor. So it's ingrained in us that the rules are the rules, no matter where you go. You don't bust up into church or court or anywhere else and do what you want to do. There are rules for this room, but to Thad's point, I know we only have time for it, but I got to go on this.
Yep.
This idea, we understand. Honest to God, if you looked at my bank account, you would know. I understand the desperation of needing to make money. And what we're trying to say is when you come in this room, lay some of that down. See, their desperation to make money. A drowning person, I'll change that. A starving person can't hear the sermon. That's what in the feeding of the 5,000 in Scripture. I can go back and forth. Satan knows Scripture. Before he could preach to him, he had to feed him. What happens is so many of us are grinding on our business and grinding on our business. And I'm saying this because I understand that I got to find business somewhere. This room's got to have some business for me. So see, that part of your brain has to go against the part of your brain that says, just talk about your journey.
Well, the setting of the boundaries and what people perceive you as being an asshole because you set boundaries, because they're tied to the results.
Yeah.
They're tied to an outcome. And so if you're not giving them the outcome that they had written in their mind, then
expectations,
then you become the asshole. It's just that simple. If you're not giving me what I want, why is he such a jerk about it? Why is he such this? And that's just not how it works. A lot of people are in their own mind. They're in a zero-sum game. I've got to win at all costs, and it is not that way. Business is a win-win. So if I tell you this is not going to work for me, maybe you can partner with such and such, right? That is a win-win because I've not left a bad taste in your mouth, and I've been able to usher you to somebody who might be able to help. But otherwise, if you come across as an asshole, you might be, and that energy is reciprocated in full.
But yes, I am. Yeah, we had.
Thank you, Derek, and all the volunteers. That's impressive. Your first meeting that you already set up to speak. To present.
In a couple of months, in June.
That's really fantastic. And I'm sitting here, how do you get to that point? You've already got to that point. So my question is, you talk about the portal and how do you enter the portal and the presentation. And I'm with you, Derek, on presentations with slides. I've done that for years. I always felt, let's get away from this board already. But what's the expectation in the presentation to talk about it with you guys beforehand?
It's more about you.
Okay.
Where you are,
what's going on. It's sort of like a check-in.
Okay, yeah.
The idea being, if you, especially if you have a business, I'm going to take her for. Do you have a business yet or an idea?
I have a business.
Okay, she got a business
on the side, yeah.
Mm-hmm. We're going to check in. It's all of her journey. We've got to come to understand our businesses are not us. And that's where that's what we're trying to remind you of in the process. The presentation gets you to center on thinking about you. You know, how are you doing? As entrepreneurs, I'm just going to ask, how often does friends and family physically ask you how you're doing? Look around, there ain't no hands up. So this is the room where you can come in and go, hey, look, I got a business. It looks good on the outside. I've got to present like I'm always together, but I'm catching hell.
The lesson is also in the looking back.
Yeah.
You don't learn unless you take time to reflect.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what happens a lot of times with people. I was guilty of that before finding this. I'm running through walls. Just keep going, keep going, keep going. But you don't learn the lesson until you stop and can see the journey that you've been on, what you've overcome to get to where you are right now. But you can't do that moving. You can't do that trying to push forward. And I learned that from that fella up in the front. When I met him, I was I need money yesterday. Like, always trying to find the next thing. You cannot advance your business if you're not healthy, as he said. You can't get healthy until you see the accomplishments that you currently have and that journey that you've gotten to this point, and you really reflect on that and understand what you've learned to get here and then apply that going forward.
And real quick, this is, and I'm going to be short because there are two hands in the back. What surprises me about this room is how encouraging they are, because we're so self-deprecating. I'm not good at anything. You know, you get up here and you don't realize how good an idea you have. You don't realize how far down the road you are. But this room of minds looks at you and goes, you're doing pretty good. Who in here is presented? Raise your hand. During Q&A, don't you start to feel good about what you got? Because people see a value in it. That's what we're trying to get. It's to address that so you can have a better business. So it's not totally on the business, but it's not totally, it's the journey. Yes, ma'am.
I want to also piggyback on what you said, as I presented also, about not also how what you're going through, but also your story, your journey. I learned that from you.
Yeah.
And we presented about also how you feel, but also your story and journey, how you got from there.
Yeah.
So that too, and also celebrating your wins.
Mm-hmm.
It's not also about what you may have not won, but also your wins.
But we don't see them as wins.
You know what I'm saying? Because you have won at a lot of different things. And there may be some things that you need to elevate on, but celebrate those wins.
If you can pay your bills, you've won.
You know?
Yes,
all right, last question. What can 1 million cups come up and do for you?
Keep being what it is and get better at what it is. It can be. Let's invite more people. Let's grow so we can't meet here. This group used to be 100 plus before COVID, and it was varied. And in being varied, it helps us all because we're not all at the same place at the same time. So what 1 million cups can do for me is keep being that safe haven for entrepreneurs to come and talk about their journey and invite folks. We've got to keep growing this. Take a chance on yourself. I need some folks to present that I don't know. Just keep being this. I'm going to be, and I say it all the time, I'm going to be okay. I'm not good yet, but I'm okay as a business owner. As a human being, I'm great. Every day I wake up, I thank God. If when the book comes out, maybe y'all, drop a brother some cash.
But other than that, I'm good, and that's not a pitch. I really and truly, call me if you need me. Yes, ma'am.
Are you gonna do a book party?
Actually, here's the funny part. I'm in marketing and advertising. My book is not being written by me per se. I named it. The author I have Ananda Plume, and it's going to be so I'm actually writing it as I'm a Hack. And I'm hiring an actor to play me. So we will have a book party and all of that crazy stuff and stupid. Oh, I'm going to be so broke. But you got to stay in character. I want to be able to be there because people have read some of the chapters and gone, that's you. No, that's not. That's Ima. So I'm going to hire somebody. I've already got a friend who's an actor who says, I'll play you. And I can play it. Well, he said the male sex organ, not the asshole part, but he can play me. He's known me since we were children. But yes, there will be a book party. And we are going to have fun with it. Thank you guys for coming. We have this room till 12. Please meet somebody you didn't know.
Drink the rest of Bob's coffee?
Yes, please. Bob works great on that coffee. Start drinking this coffee, y'all. He shouldn't pour anything out. And if you want to volunteer for anything or you want to present, see one of the 1 Million Cup shirts and we'll get you in touch with Tara. Thank you.
Join us next week.
Yes, sir. Thank you. I need y'all on the front row from the wall. Yes, ma'am. Thank you. All right. Fine. Say it again for me. Yes, ma'am. Yeah. What's your journey been like? Come on over, Rich. No, you're not interrupting. This is so. What's your yeah, so what's the name of your business?